Great Falls, Montana, 1983. A town where the vast, open skies seemed to promise a tranquility as deep as the Missouri River that flowed through it. The residents, a close-knit community of ranchers, shopkeepers, and blue-collar workers, lived with an unspoken understanding, a sense of belonging that bordered on the familial. Yet, beneath this seemingly idyllic surface, a dark undercurrent was stirring, a secret that would shatter the town's peace. 17-year-old Elara Vance, a young woman whose spirit mirrored the vibrant Montana sunsets, was a budding artist with dreams as boundless as the open sky. Her sketchbook, a repository of her inner world, was filled with sketches of the rugged landscape and the faces of those she loved, each stroke a testament to her talent and a yearning for a life beyond the town's borders. Elara's art was a reflection of her soul, a silent language that spoke of her hopes and fears, her dreams and aspirations. On the evening of October 12th, Elara finished her shift at the Silver Spur, the local diner, a place where the aroma of greasy fries and strong coffee mingled with the chatter of locals. The walk home, a familiar path under the vast, starlit sky, should have been uneventful. But that night, she vanished, swallowed by the shadows that crept from the surrounding hills, a chilling premonition of the darkness that had taken root in their peaceful town. The silence that followed her disappearance was deafening, a stark contrast to the usual hum of life in Great Falls. The following morning, the tranquility of a secluded clearing near the old abandoned mill, a place once vibrant with the sounds of industry, now a silent testament to decay, was shattered. Elara's body, a stark contrast to the serene landscape, was found half-hidden beneath a blanket of decaying leaves and broken machinery. Her clothes were torn, her throat brutally slashed, her body a grim tableau of violence against the backdrop of the serene Montana wilderness. The town, once a symbol of safety, was now a scene of horror. Fear gripped the community. Parents, their faces etched with worry, kept their children indoors. The police, their presence a constant reminder of the tragedy, scoured the area. But the killer, a phantom in the night, remained elusive, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a town shrouded in grief. For Sheriff Thomas "Tom" Ramsey, a young deputy at the time, Elara's murder was more than just a case. It was a wound that refused to heal, a stain on the town's conscience. Now, in 2022, as he approached retirement, the specter of Elara's unsolved murder haunted his every step, a constant reminder of the justice that had been denied, a weight that had grown heavier with each passing year. The years that followed were a frustrating dance with dead ends and unanswered questions. Suspects emerged, their names whispered in hushed tones, but none provided a solid lead. The original evidence, meticulously preserved, fibers, hair samples, and a torn piece of fabric, remained locked in a vault, a silent testament to the limitations of 1980s forensic technology. DNA, the key that could unlock the truth, was still a distant dream, a whisper of a future that seemed impossibly far away. Elara's parents, their hearts shattered, lived out their days in a haze of grief, their hope for closure fading with each passing year, their lives forever altered by the void left by their daughter's absence. The killer, a shadow in the night, had vanished, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and unfulfilled justice, a ghost that haunted the town's collective conscience. The silence of their grief was a constant, aching reminder of the life that had been stolen. Then, in early 2022, a flicker of hope ignited. The Montana Bureau of Investigation, in a groundbreaking initiative, announced a partnership with Genesis Solutions, a cutting-edge forensic lab specializing in advanced DNA analysis and genealogical research. This partnership promised to breathe new life into cold cases, using cutting-edge technology to unravel mysteries that had long remained unsolved, a beacon of hope in the darkness of the past. Sheriff Ramsey, his heart pounding with a mix of anticipation and trepidation, knew this was his last chance. He retrieved the Vance file, its pages yellowed with age, and sent the remaining biological evidence to the lab, hoping for a miracle, a chance to finally lay the ghost of Elara's murder to rest. The weight of decades rested on this final gamble. The results, when they arrived, were a jolt to the dormant case. A partial male DNA profile, extracted from the torn fabric, a silent witness to the crime, a testament to Elara's desperate struggle, was enough to initiate a familial search through genealogical databases. The sample was run through ancestral echoes, a proprietary database, casting a wide net across a vast sea of genetic information, a digital search for a phantom killer. The digital search was a modern-day hunt for a ghost of the past. Weeks turned into an agonizing wait. Then, the call came, a voice on the other end of the line, carrying the weight of decades, a message that would rewrite the past. The silence of the wait was broken by the promise of answers. The DNA, a silent messenger from the past, didn't match anyone in the criminal databases. But it did reveal a distant relative, a third cousin named Clara Jennings, living in Denver. Her DNA, uploaded for ancestral research, was the thread that would unravel the truth, a single thread leading into a complex tapestry of family secrets. Dr. Anya Sharma, the forensic genealogist assigned to the case, embarked on a painstaking journey through the labyrinth of family history. She meticulously combed through census records, obituaries, birth certificates, and marriage licenses, each document a piece of the puzzle. The task was daunting, a labyrinth of potential male relatives spanning generations, a complex map of bloodlines and hidden connections. The digital world was being used to trace the path of a killer lost to the past. But one name, like a ghost from the past, kept resurfacing: Silas Thorne. Thorne had lived in Great Falls during the early 1980s, his presence a quiet, almost unnoticed part of the town's fabric. He worked as a night watchman at the old abandoned mill, a seemingly innocuous job that masked a dark secret, a wolf in sheep's clothing. His criminal record, a collection of disturbing incidents involving stalking and harassment, hinted at a troubled mind, a dark undercurrent beneath the surface of his seemingly ordinary life. The shadows of his past were beginning to lengthen. A year after Elara's murder, Thorne vanished, leaving Montana for the isolation of a remote cabin in the Bitterroot Mountains. He died in 2010, his life ending in the quiet solitude of the wilderness, his secrets buried with him. The solitude of the mountains held the secrets of a killer. Dr. Sharma flagged him as a prime suspect. Sheriff Ramsey, his determination renewed, ordered an exhumation, a final chance to bring justice to Elara and closure to her family. The past was being dug up, literally, to find the truth. In June 2022, Thorne's remains were exhumed from a small, isolated cemetery in the Bitterroot Mountains. A bone sample, extracted from the femur, was sent to the lab, the final piece of the puzzle, a silent testament to the past. The bone spoke a language of the past. The results, delivered in August, were a chilling confirmation. The DNA from the torn fabric belonged to Silas Thorne. After 39 years, the killer was finally identified, and the ghost of Elara's murder was finally given a name. The silence was finally broken, but the resolution of Elara's murder only deepened the mystery. Why Elara? What twisted motive drove Thorne to commit such a heinous act? What darkness lurked within him, driving him to such violence? The questions echoed through the decades. Thorne wasn't known to the Vance family. He wasn't listed as a regular of the diner. But as Dr. Sharma delved deeper into his past, a disturbing pattern emerged. Thorne had a fixation on young artists, often attending local art shows and exhibitions, his presence a silent, unsettling observer. He kept a journal, filled with disturbing sketches and cryptic entries, hinting at a dark obsession, a twisted fascination that bordered on madness. The journal, a window into a disturbed mind. Worse still, there was speculation that he had been involved in other disappearances. Two young women, both artists, had vanished from nearby towns in the late 1970s, their cases bearing eerie similarities to Elara's. One woman was never found, her disappearance a haunting enigma, a ghost in the vast Montana landscape. The other was discovered in a secluded cabin, her fate a grim reminder of the evil that lurked in the shadows, a chilling echo of Elara's own demise. The shadows of the past held more than one victim. Samples from those crime scenes were tested, but the DNA, degraded by time, yielded no conclusive results. Still, the modus operandi was chillingly consistent. Young female artists, isolated locations, no witnesses, a pattern that spoke of a predator who preyed on vulnerability and isolation. The pattern was a chilling signature. Sheriff Ramsey and Dr. Sharma, their minds haunted by the possibility of other victims, believed Thorne had committed these crimes. But without physical evidence, their suspicions remained just that, speculation, a chilling reminder of the limitations of justice. They found themselves staring into a void of unanswered questions, a darkness that threatened to consume them. The void of unanswered questions was a heavy burden. In September 2022, the Great Falls Sheriff's Department held a press conference, a somber gathering to announce the closure of the Elara Vance case. Sheriff Ramsey, his voice steady and resolute, stood beside Dr. Sharma, his gaze reflecting the weight of the years, the burden of justice finally fulfilled. For almost 40 years, Elara's case remained unsolved, Ramsey said, his words echoing through the silent room, a testament to the enduring power of justice. Thanks to the perseverance of science, and a woman who never even knew the Vances, we finally know who took her life. Elara's surviving relatives, her younger sister and nephew, were present, their faces a mix of grief and relief, their hearts finally finding a measure of peace. Tears flowed, hugs were exchanged, and gasps of disbelief filled the room when Thorne's name was spoken aloud, the ghost of the past finally given a face. The tears were a release, a cleansing after decades of grief. In the aftermath, Dr. Sharma received a flood of messages from detectives across the country, their voices filled with hope and a desperate plea for collaboration. The Elara Vance case had ignited a renewed interest in forensic genealogy, a beacon of hope for families who had long lived in the shadow of unsolved crimes. Funding increased, cold cases were reopened, and families dared to hope again, their voices finally heard in the pursuit of justice. The hope was a ripple effect, a wave of change. Sheriff Ramsey, his duty fulfilled, officially retired in December 2022, but not before paying one final visit to the clearing where Elara's body was found. He placed a single white lily, a symbol of purity and remembrance, and whispered, "We got him." His voice a quiet echo in the vast Montana landscape, a final farewell to a ghost that had haunted him for decades. The silence of the landscape was broken by a final goodbye. As for Dr. Sharma, she continued her work, driven by a relentless pursuit of justice. Every new case was a thread in the tapestry of human existence, another chance to rewrite history, to bring closure to families who had waited too long, and to give voice to the voiceless. She found herself drawn into the intricate webs of family secrets, the hidden connections that bound people together, and the dark undercurrents that threatened to tear them apart. The work was a calling, a dedication to justice. The Elara Vance case had changed her. It had shown her the power of science to bring light into the darkest corners of the past. She carried the weight of each case, each victim, each family, with a quiet determination, knowing that every name she uncovered, every mystery she solved, was a step towards a more just world. The light of justice was a beacon in the darkness. Sometimes justice takes decades, its arrival is slow, agonizing crawl. But when it finally comes, it doesn't whisper. It roars, its voice a thunderous echo of truth and redemption, a testament to the enduring power of hope in the face of darkness, a symphony of voices that had been silenced for too long. The roar of justice was a symphony of the silenced.
Justice may take decades, but we'll never stop telling their stories. Subscribe, share, and help us keep the memory of Elara and others like her alive.